In today's world, it's easy to hear a story, to get caught up in something and just see the negative. Just see everything that's wrong with the world. It's easy to lose sight of what's real, of what the true story may be. The Jayce Whisenhunt story coming up next.
The Top, broadcasting worldwide on iHeartRadio and Spreaker.com.
Portions of the day's programming are reproduced by means of electrical transcriptions or tape recordings.
You can either talk in the Chris Top program.
I am the one and only Chris Top.
You can either talk in the Chris Top program.
Broadcasting live from my lavish studio apartment.
The VCR and the DVD, there was a night of black right back in 1970. What didn't know about the World War Web was a whole different game being played back when I was a kid. Wanna get down in a cool way, picture yourself on a beautiful day. Big bell bottoms and groovy long hair, just walking in style with a portable MP3 play. You can listen to the music on the Chris Top program. You can hear the music on the Chris Top program.
Only Chris Top.
Hear the music on the Chris Top program. You can hear the talk in the Chris Top program.
Sunny Clarksville, Tennessee.
You can hear the talk in the Chris Top program.
This is the Chris Top program.
And I'm the one and only Chris Top, broadcasting live from my lavish home studio here in sunny Clarksville, Tennessee, with an ocean view. How in the hell you doing tonight, world? I was going through Facebook this morning. I forget what time. I think it was like 9 a.m. or so, and I came across a post from a good friend of mine, Michael, and I was reading this post, and it turned me on to this story, which I hadn't previously heard. Sometimes I'm knee-deep in the news and what's going on and around the world, and I lose track sometimes, especially of things that happen in my own community. I was born and raised here in Clarksville, Tennessee. I don't have a lot in common with Jayce Whisenhunt or his sister Jessica, aside from the fact that we live in the same town and we all graduated from the same high school, Montgomery Central. I'm a little bit older. I graduated in 1989, but don't judge me. I'm not here for that tonight. So to let you know exactly what's going on, to get you up to date, because this show is not only in Clarksville, but it also goes all over the world, iHeartRadio, and I appreciate you listening on iHeartRadio. But this is the story, and I want to share it with you just to bring you up to speed. And I want to give you my play on it. I'm trying to look at this in a different way, and we'll explain that in just a little while. Jayce is a senior at Montgomery Central High School. He's a special needs student. He's been attending a feeder program all year at an off-site location. When he was thinking about going to prom, he couldn't think of anyone to take as a date. He has no girlfriend or female friends that he felt comfortable going with, so he asked his sister. Jessica accepted his invitation. Both of them got dressed up. They looked great. Jayce even had a suit brought for him by a friend of his father's, $400. And of course, their father made sure both of them had flowers to wear to the big dance. They took pictures. They went to dinner. They did a little bit of shopping. And then when they got to the event, they were just full of all this excitement. And, of course, that excitement turned into tears and sadness. Jayce and his family were never informed of the age limit for prom guests. They never realized that his sister was over the age limit. So they were blindsided by the principal of the school, refusing her attendance. So they were heartbroken. They left in tears. And that's the story in a nutshell. Now, when you read a story like this, it's easy to get mad, to just get full of rage, to just get on Facebook and just tweet just terribly nasty things. And it could go either way. And you got to think about this from both sides, because there are two sides to this story. When you take it at face value, it's like, oh my gosh, the school really screwed up on this one. Why couldn't they just let them in? Let's dissect this just a little bit before we go too far. Because I think people, and it's human nature to get caught up in pointing fingers and placing blame on everybody, that you lose sight of the real story of what's really important. And when people lose sight of stuff like that, it kind of makes me mad. So let's pick this apart. Okay, so when you're the parent of a child, of a student that has a disability, that has special needs, that has autism, then as a parent, you should be super engaged. You should know every single thing that goes on in your child's life. You should call the school 2 or 3 times a day, and you should make sure you know everything. You should know everything about every ball game they go to, about prom, about every dance they go to, just so you're informed, just so you don't screw anything up. Now, the problem with this is we're all just people. I'm a father. My kids aren't special needs. And at the time, I was married to their mother, and it was still insane trying to keep up with everything. Today has changed so much, and it's so hard. And God bless the parents that can't keep up with every single thing that their child does, but it's next to impossible in most cases. So you take, in Jayce's case, his father, a single dad. Maybe he dropped the ball on this one. Maybe he didn't. I don't know who dropped the ball. Maybe he should have called the school and followed up and found out all the rules about the prom. Good possibility. But then again, none of us are perfect, are we? I mean, let's face it, when you're a parent, you don't know what the hell's going on. Half the time, you just do the best you can. So let's give Jayce's dad the benefit of the doubt. All right, so the school. Okay, the school, I'm assuming they have a special needs program set up. I'm sure that there's something in place. And I did read that a note was sent home with all of the students, letting them know the rules. And if the student was going to bring an older person, not older than 20, and remember his sister's 24 years old, not older than 20, they had to sign the paper, and there were some hoops to jump through. But evidently, one way or another, Jayce's dad never got the paper. I highly doubt he got the paper and he's lying about it. I highly doubt that. So, with Jayce being a special needs student, should the school have followed up? Well, they did. They did follow up. I'm not sure what I think they sent a text, or they left a voicemail or something. Did they follow up on that? Did they try again? See, somebody dropped the ball somewhere, because when Jayce asked his sister to the dance, she was honored. She wanted to go with him. She wanted this to be a special night for him, because you got to think, this kid, he's a special needs kid. He goes to school. He wants a night of normality. He wants a night to fit in with the other kids. That's what he wants. Should the school have made an exception? If the kid goes to school, his sister graduated from there, you can't tell me they don't know who he is. When he shows up in his new suit, his sister shows up with him, somebody had to know who they were. They could have made a phone call, and they could have bent the rule just a little bit. That could have happened, but it didn't. Now, I'll bet you this. I'll bet you if we had a time machine, I bet if the dad had a time machine and he could go back in time, he would make damn sure that he got that piece of paper, that he contacted the school and worked this out ahead of time. I guarantee he would do that, just so his son could go to the prom. But he doesn't have a time machine, does he? And I bet the school principal, if the school principal had a time machine, she would go back to prom night and let Jayce and his sister in. But she can't do that, can she? So how do we pick up the pieces from this, and how do we move forward? See, while everybody's busy pointing fingers and getting hacked off at each other, there's an answer. And there's a real story. There's a real story behind this. And we'll talk about that real story in just a second. Magnolia Emporium, a proud sponsor of the 2016 WABA Awards at legendary BB King's downtown Nashville, Tennessee. The Chris Top program, working on being awesome worldwide with a little help from Magnolia Emporium and BB King's. Oh, I do remember the first time I met Monday's Mona Lisa. They were just getting started. Nobody had a clue who they were. I remember talking to the guys about a song they were writing at the time. I mean, they were big fans of the Chris Top program. Who's not, right? So they were writing a song about covering up a picture of an ex-girlfriend with the Chris Top program logo. I said, guys, that's really flattering, but why don't you try Katy Perry instead? Performing live from legendary BB King's downtown Nashville, Tennessee during the Chris Top program's WABA Awards 2016. Fun starts at 6 p.m. on June 11th. This is a free event, courtesy of Magnolia Emporium.
This has been a Chris Top production.
You can either talk in the Chris Top program.
Mr. Pop.
Take it from the top.
Okay, so what's the real story here? I highly doubt Jayce showed up at prom with his sister with some diabolical plan. Yeah, me and my sis, we're going to go in here, we're going to drink, we're going to shoot up drugs. It's just going to be a nasty event. We're going to burn the place down. I highly doubt that was on Jayce's mind or his dad's mind or his sister's mind. And I'm sure the school didn't mean for this to happen. I'm sure the school is sorry. The real story here is, what about Jayce? What about him going to school? What about him missing his prom? So what do? We've already established the fact that none of us can go back in time and fix it. Maybe we can. Now, what's happened recently, to me, is the big story here. There was a lady, I'm not even sure what her name is, but she took this upon herself. I wish I knew her name. She took this upon herself to set up a GoFundMe account. And evidently they found a location here in my hometown of Clarksville to hold Jayce's own prom. Now, the thing is, they had to raise $3,000. I'm very happy to say they've raised $4,125 as of 11:12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Why don't we just talk about that? Why don't we not talk about the mistakes that the father may or may not have made? Why don't we not talk about the mistakes that the school may or may not have made? Let's move forward. Because I'm sure Jayce doesn't want to get caught up in the middle of anything. Jayce just wants to go to prom. That's all he wants to do. He just wants to go to prom and have a good time. That's the story. The love from the people in his hometown, in my hometown. I graduated from Montgomery Central. I am proud to be a part of Clarksville because they raised this money in a day, less than 2 days. They raised this money to send Jayce to prom. And I'm sure when he gets there and has a great time, I'm sure he's going to get plenty of girls that are going to ask him to dance at this point because he looks rather dashing in his suit. Now, the thing is, if you want to donate, because I'm sure that there are other needs. I'm sure being a single dad, I'm sure there's a lot going on and they could probably use some extra money. Or maybe they want to send him to prom in a limo. I don't know. But if you want to donate, there's actually a GoFundMe set up, and you can go to my Facebook page. There's a link there. But it's under Jayce's prom. And I'm sure you can just look for that under GoFundMe.com. But just look at my Facebook. The link's right there with the show. But throw in $5 or $10. Give him a limo ride. Maybe they want a live band. I don't know. But make this a special night. Let's go back in time. Let's forget what happened because it's not important anymore. There's nothing we can do to change it. Not a thing we can do. I'm sure the dad would go back and change it if he could. I'm sure the school would go back and change it if they could. Hindsight's 20/20. But we just can't do that. I would, however, like to challenge the faculty at Montgomery Central High School, at my alma mater, to maybe pitch in, donate a little bit to the GoFundMe account, maybe help chaperone a little bit at Jayce's prom. Maybe that'd be a good idea. Maybe just say you're sorry. And let's just move forward. Because we all make mistakes. We all screw up. Dad may have screwed up. School may have screwed up. I don't know. I don't care. I screw up 50 times a day. I'm okay with it. I'm cool. I'm just glad my friends are forgiving. Let's just stop hating each other and let's just make sure Jayce has a good prom. With that being said, I would also like to extend something to Jayce and his sister. If you guys would like to come visit with us at BB King's on June 11th, we'd love to have you. Live music, there's an award ceremony. It's a lot of fun, and I will personally treat Jayce and his sister to a meal if they want to come and enjoy the live music and just kind of hang out with us at the award ceremony. You can wear your really cool suit, Jayce. You probably are not going to want to dance with me, but I would like to shake your hand if that's okay. But anyway, that's my 2 cents. You can continue to hate and be mad if you want, but I think it's past that at this point. It's all about working on being awesome, isn't it? I think so. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today. I don't take any of you for granted. I never, ever will. I love all of you. I promise I do. There's lots of other things you could do, but you choose to listen to me, and that makes me feel pretty darn good. It really, really does. I do have a question in the chat. It's from Eric. Eric, how you doing, buddy? He says, do you really think the principal should be fired for following the rules? I don't think the principal can be fired for following the rules. And when you look at it in a situation like this, the rules are there, obviously for a reason. It's to keep our kids safe. But I think an exception could have been made here. But like I said, I think the principal is probably sorry for making that decision and would probably go back and change it if they could. I don't think that we should all get our pitchforks together and chase the principal down, Frankenstein style. I don't think that would be appropriate. But thank you guys for listening, and I don't know if you're listening live. I don't know if you're going to listen later on iHeartRadio or Stitcher or the 30 other sites that we're on, but I sure do love you. I don't take you for granted. I never, ever will take you for granted. So until I broadcast again, please remember this. Life is good, and I'm gone.
Maybe a dark things might be looking grim. I guess it's time